So I'm recording now, so can you give us your name and number, please?
Okay. Daniel Morris, MOR22000288.
Thanks for that. Could you tell us about your idea for your FMP, please?
So my idea for my FMP is a short film called Decapitation. There's more information. So it's the concept is a cat who decapitates people with a chainsaw. It's sort of inspired, the title is inspired by a band called Cattle Decapitation, and they were formed in 1996. I sort of, like actual inspiration for the film is a mix between sort of classic, maybe indie horror films, but with a twist of sort of like YouTube, like CGI sort of channels. Like I've used Freddie Wong and Corridor here because I like their use of computer graphics mixed with like a subversive sort of. I'll go into it more later, but I want to evolve my filmmaking skills with this project. So I want to evolve my editing mostly, but I also want to use cameras more, and I want to sort of get a crew of people to work on this sort of collectively. So my inspiration for this, I've used my favorite Corridor video, and that's where it's a traditional gunfight, but instead of the focus being put on the gun, like winning in a gunfight, it's put on reloading instead. So it takes a concept that's done many times before, like my horror film concept, but it puts a twist on it slightly. And then I use this video because it illustrates the visual style I want to go for, and that's sort of like an old like 4x4 letterbox, 4x3 letterbox actually, sort of like film grain style. Like I want to use old cameras to get a retro aesthetic, I think. So what makes a project like this potentially successful? Well, first off, people like cats, but people also like gore. So I thought, what if I mix these elements together? And this is my target audience. These are some very, very popular Corridor videos here. I think one of the draws of these videos is definitely the CGI, especially this one here. So I want to take that and I want to apply that to horror. I think that's one of the main draws. And I talk about how popular Corridor is here and how they use visual effects and stuff. So my primary research, because I'm doing a short film, is mostly hunting locations and looking for props. I also I think it's very important to evaluate with feedback. So after every major milestone in the production, I will go and get feedback from people. My secondary research is looking at cameras and searching for editing tips. I think one of the major things I need to do for this is to look at cameras and find the best camera for the retro style I want. And the best thing I can do is probably just go into camera shops, have a look at the different options, maybe look at old films, and I think that's one of the main things I'll have to do very early on. But then later on in the post-production, I'm going to focus a lot more on the editing. I want it to be very, I want there to be a lot of build-up, and I want there to be a lot of emphasis on the sound and stuff. And I think a great way to do that is by looking at and evaluating old horror films. So I've not yet researched the camera equipment, but one thing I definitely need already is someone to hold up a boom pole. I think that's something I haven't done before, but it's something I want to look into doing when I'm filming. So definitely recording audio is something I need to focus on when I'm practically filming. I've done lavalier microphones before, but I want to move on to a more professional film standard. I think the best thing to do is to do a boom pole. I will also, like everything else I've made, I will also be editing with Premiere Pro. So finally, in the evaluation, after every major step of the production, I will provide an evaluation to assess any of the revisions I've made from the initial from the initial pitch and some of the problems I have faced and how I've solved them. So there'll probably be about 6 or so of these major evaluative essays I will write. And then I'll also provide feedback as described in the primary research section. I'll do this by the use of focus groups and interviews. I think getting a group of people together, showing them what I've made, maybe having them on set as well, is very important for improving the quality of the production. And then finally, sustainability. I've decided that my short film will be mostly shot in inside locations. I think that's definitely going to cut down on traveling, and I won't have to use cars that might affect the environment. I also try my best to to power my camera equipment and computers and stuff using sustainable means like solar farms and wind farms and stuff. I put in a little bit here talking about going to a small business to edit so I can support local businesses as well, because I think that's also important. That's everything.
So when you say going to a small business to edit, what do you mean exactly?
Like I think small businesses are much more like sustainable.
Sorry, are you going to be editing your stuff with in a company, or?
I mean like going to a coffee shop to edit.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
That's my mistake. So you get, alright, okay, so you're thinking of being sustainable to a local economy while you're doing your work?
Yeah.
That's good, I like that. To be honest, you covered a heck of a lot there. And
that's good.
Yes, I thought it was really good, and I'm intrigued to see how it'll turn out. And I like Corridor as well, I like the lights that you want, and that. So that's really good, so thanks for that.